All right, so I just want to give you my input on the new Prismatic Hunter subclass. And as far as the information that we have, I just put out a video on Prismatic Titan. This video is more about weighing what we know so far about Prismatic Hunter and the existing core Hunter builds, and why I don't think you should worry about the current builds being power crept out of the game. I know a lot of people are just like, oh, well, this is just going to break the game. Why would you ever use anything else? I don't think that's going to be an issue, because Bungie seemed to have considered this when they're building the subclass, and it seems to me like they're still going to be giving a place for all of the core builds that we currently enjoy to exist in the game just as effectively. They've done a really good job, I think, balancing so far as what I can see. And like, you're not just going to be able to use anything and everything from every single subclass. Like, you are extremely limited to what you can use. Like, these prismatic builds are like a jack of all trades, maybe a master of none. We don't know yet. Maybe it will be a master of everything, because we don't exactly know how the builds are going to play out, what kind of combinations people are going to come up with, and we still don't have all the information. We haven't even played it, so we don't really know. But we do know that you're not going to have access to a lot of the core fundamental stuff that exist in the builds that we have right now that make them so good, right? So what is Prismatic Hunter going to be getting as part of its subclass, right? It's getting 5 supers, 5 melee abilities, 5 grenade abilities, 5 aspects, then basically all the class abilities, movements, like, you know, that's all the same. So Prismatic Hunter is going to feature the new Arc Super, Storm's Edge, which is kind of like a roaming, movement-based super for Arc. And then it's going to be getting the new aspect, Ascension, right? So there's no lethal current, and there's no flow state, right? And that immediately tells you that there's not going to be punch dodge, right? Like, your typical punch dodge Arc Titan is not going to exist within Prismatic Hunter. You're not going to be able to infinitely loop your melee and your dodge, and stack up that crazy jolting damage from lethal current and flow state, because it's those two aspects that make the build, along with combination blow, broken. Like, if we're in an Arc season and Arc is doing very well, then Arc Hunter is always going to be one of the best subclasses for just anything. Like, it's kind of like the Strand Titan variant with Tractor Cannon. That's not going to exist, so we don't have to worry about that going away. It's still going to have a place. All right, so, and then what else do we have here? I should have just covered exactly what we're getting. So Storm's Edge, Golden Gun, right? So no Blade Barrage. We're getting Silence and Squall, Silk Strike. Obviously, those are the only 2 Darkness supers. And then we're getting Tether, which is pretty good. And then for the melee abilities, like I said, Combination Blow, Knife Trick. So that's going to be the only melee that we have. Withering Blade, Threaded Spike, obviously they're the only Darkness melees that we still have. We haven't gotten anything else yet. Hint, hint, Bungie, like, when are you going to drop us some new abilities for the Darkness subclasses? And then we're getting Snare Bomb, which is also the only Void melee ability. Grenades, we're getting Arc Bolt grenades, so no Pulse grenades. Pulse grenades are pretty much the best Arc grenades, so we don't get a good Arc grenade, right? Maybe if you're doing like a Lucky Raspberry build for Prismatic, maybe Arc Bolts will be pretty good there. I think that's the right Lucky Raspberry, I think, is about Arc Bolt grenades. I can't remember. Then we're getting Swarm grenades for Solar, so no healing grenades, no fusion grenades. Swarm grenades aren't very good right now as it is, so this doesn't seem like it's going to be overpowered. Duskfield grenades, okay. Duskfield grenades kind of fit with the standard Revenant Hunter builds, but consider the aspect that we have here. Do we have Touch of Winter? No, we don't. So we don't have the best Duskfield grenades on Prismatic Hunter. Grapple, that's great. I think grapple works really well with Strand Hunter. This means that you could still pair it with like Cyroterachnes for Woven Mail. And then we're getting Magnetic Grenade for Void, so no Vortex Grenades, unfortunately. Magnetic Grenades aren't really commonly used at all. Then Aspects, Ascension, like I said, that's the new aspect for Hunter. I don't know anything about it, so I'm not gonna speculate. Gunpowder Gamble, that's cool and all, but really, I mean, the two best fragments for most cases on Gunslinger are On Your Mark and Knock 'em Down, right? Because Knock 'em Down is what allows you to have your knife tricks refunded to you on every kill. So we're not going to have that. We got Winter Shroud, which I think is the aspect that slows enemies when you dodge, which I like that aspect, but there's no touch of winter. We have Threaded Spectre, so we don't have Widow Silk for the double grenades, and we don't have Ensnaring Slam, and we don't have Whirling Maelstrom, right? So a lot of the things that make the current Strand Hunter Threadrunner subclass extremely good are not featured in Prismatic. Then we've got Stylish Executioner, which again is the worst aspect, arguably, unless you're on your Falcon's Hunter, for Night Stalker in general, right? We don't have Ensnaring Slam, and we don't have Vanishing Step. So how does that affect our core builds? And also, I wanted to mention here, this shouldn't say Titan, this should say Hunter. But let's go down here to the Transcendent ability for Hunter, which is Hailfire Spike, right? So when we build up our Transcendent ability by getting light and dark kills, we're going to have access to this mini super, which is kind of like a grenade, or it replaces your grenade, I believe. And so for Hunters, they get Hailfire Spike, which is a mix of stasis. Here, I'll read it. Throw a device charged with stasis matter and solar energy that attaches to surfaces or targets, and then it erupts into a slowing storm. After a short duration, the device ignites, creates a deadly scorching cyclone. Sounds really cool. I'm excited. It's like Conditional Finality, the mini grenade super version. And what that also means is that you might want to lean into stasis and solar for your Prismatic Hunter builds, because the subclass it heavily features a strong ability that that represents that. So yeah, just to mention that. And then, so core Hunter builds that are not going to be affected here, and you're still going to want to use them in certain situations. Of course, they're probably going to be extremely still competitive in the meta. Whatever the new meta is going to be, I bet you a lot of these builds, people are still going to want to use them, and they're still going to be necessary. So our Punch Dodge Arc Titan, like I already explained, there's no knock 'em down knife spam unless you go to the core solar subclass. If you want to play Invis Hunter, one of the most powerful subclasses in the game for Grandmaster carries, solo flawless stuff, just anything in general, LFG, random teammates, no comms. If there's an Invis Hunter with Omnioculus or Graviton, Invis Hunter is so clutch. It's not going to be in Prismatic. You might be able to pull off something with Volta rounds and Stylish Executioner with your Falcons inside of Prismatic. We don't know yet, but still, you're not going to have that same reliable invisibility that Night Stalker offers. You're going to have to go and play Night Stalker. We have I'm looking at Warlock here, but anyways, I'm reading off my notes. We have Duskfield grenades, but we don't have Touch of Winter Duskfield grenades, so there's not going to be a stasis crystal in the middle. The slowing field is not going to be bigger and last longer, so it's not going to be as potent, right? So if you want to get the most potency out of those Duskfield grenades and renewal grasps and all that, you're still going to want to go back and play Revenant. And then as far as our super builds, right, if you can even call them builds, but what Hunter's best suited for oftentimes in raids and dungeons is doing the most amount of damage out of all the classes. And the subclasses that they typically do that with are Arc and Solar, with Gathering Storm and Blade Barrage. and you're not going to be able to access Gathering Storm or Blade Barrage on Prismatic Hunter, right? So there's still going to be a place for the core builds. Don't panic. Anyways, feel free to leave a like. Let me know what you think in the comments, how you're feeling about the Prismatic subclasses and what Bungie has showed us so far. I am super, super hyped for all the build crafting here. That's going to be so much creativity is going to go into this. And yeah, I'm super excited. So anyways, yeah, check the channel, look for the Titan video, and I'll have a Warlock video coming soon as well. So we'll catch you in the next one.